The daily go get a mism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talk about independence on a Monday night, yeah. So tonight we're talking about been on my own since whatever age you've been out on your own. Now, we're going to talk about this in the form of a lot of people would be quick to tell you, I've been out on my own taking care of myself since I was just a little kid and my health was always in questions. I had to do for mine and I had two kids already and I was shining at age 16. Yeah, I was kind of wild, but I was actually a really good prodigal child. And nobody helped the man, the girl, and nobody would tell me about this world. But my mom and dad wasn't there for me. One of them died and one was getting kids. See? Well, we're gonna see about that. Because a lot of people would tell you that they made it on their own, been out on their own, didn't have nobody to look out for them or take care of them or provide for them, and it's not always true. But it's like a badge of honor. Everybody wants to portray themselves to be a self-made person. And I shouldn't say everybody because everybody doesn't do that. But I've known people who have lived and stayed in their mom house all of their lives and talking about I had to make it out on my own. Don't nobody do for me. You living under somebody else's roof. I don't see how you could be independent. No word. But they managed to somehow try to get this type of dialogue off. So we're going to talk about it. And what does it really mean to make it out on your own? What does it mean to make it on your own? Whether you are very young and unprepared or whether you are older and more mature. When you make it on your own, you make it on your own. It doesn't necessarily mean that nobody finances, nobody helps, and nobody cares. It really means that you had to use your resources in order to make something happen that probably wasn't going to make it by itself or without you pushing it along. So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. And this is the daily go get a show. We do this every single day. It rains. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains and the DG will do the same. I am your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Get a Show. All up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also. Tonight on this Power Monday, we are talking about been on my own since I was. Well, what's the truth? What's the truth of the matter? Well, first of all, let's ask this question. What age do most people agree is appropriate for a child, a person, a man, a woman, a boy, a girl to be out on their own, to be paying their own bills, having their own roof over their head, maybe even taking care of children. Some people will tell you 17, 18. And yeah, that might sound crazy to a lot of people because for a lot of people, you're thinking that's when you're just graduating high school or not even that. And you're not ready for the world. You haven't learned anything. You haven't been shown anything. You're not prepared for that. But for some people, since that's the only beginning of adulthood that they know, they say 17, 18 years old. And a lot of them are speaking from their own perspective. But then, of course, there's some people who will say 21, and then there's some people who say 25, and then there are some people who will say not until you are fully all the way ready. So that it might be 21, 25, maybe 30 for some people, but you're not ready until you're really ready. But what about you personally? What do y'all think is the right age generally that people should be more independent, that they should be out on their own? What age should you get your own place, or should you have your own place? And not everybody has their own place, but what age do you think someone should have their own place? Now, for me personally, I would say I'm going to give it until you graduate college. So I'm going to say 23 years old. And that's assuming that you went to college when you entered college when you were 18. And that's 4 years. So that gives you 4 years until you're 22, and then another year to get yourself together after you graduate. If you go for, well, even if you don't go to college, I'm saying by 23 years old, you should know how to do it. Life, education, interactions, experiences, successes and failures should probably have you ready to go by the time you're 23. Now, would I be saying that because that's the year? I mean, I graduated at 22, but I would be 23 that summer. But I've been living on my own since I was 18. Now, living on my own, was I really living on my own? Yes, I had my own apartment. But my dad owned the building that I lived in. So I didn't pay rent. I had to pay my electric. I had to pay my phone. And I was in college, so I had to take care of those other. I bought my own books. Basically, I put myself through college. And that's not even an exaggeration. If I had to get the grants and the loans and all of that kind of stuff, like my parents didn't pay up out of pocket for me to go to school. And back then 1980 89, you could pay for college outright. We almost had to do it because I applied late, but we didn't have to do it. So what happened. So you know so I can say that I made it on my own. One thing is for sure, I didn't have to. I didn't have to leave my mom's house. I didn't get kicked out. We didn't have arguments. It wasn't like that. My brother, who actually was paying rent to my dad, was living in the house. See, in the apartment, the reason that he had to pay rent is because he didn't go to college. So my dad felt like, well, if you're not going to go to school and you want to live up in here with your girlfriend on my dime, it's not going to happen. So y'all pay rent. I moved in. I still didn't have to pay no rent. I was in college, so I got the crib for free. I moved in July 19th, 1989, after my first semester of college. Not my first year, my first semester. I started in January of 1989. Me and my brother was rolling heavy that summer, going out, having fun, what I'm saying, messing with mad chicks and all of that. We was bringing chicks up to the apartment anyway. It was on. So he was like, you know what, you should move in. He was like, I'm going to the Air Force. I'm going to the Air Force in December anyway. You take the crib over, what I'm saying? I'll just pass the torch to you. And since I already wasn't paying rent, I was like, all right, but I was thinking like my dad was gonna flip on me, like, hold on. All right, you could have stayed at your mom crib. I was thinking he was gonna hit me with the rent, but he didn't do that. I appreciate that too. So I can say that I lived by myself, and I did. But was I making it on my own? No. No. I can't say that. However, to some people, I would say that. Like, yeah, I've been out on my own since I was 18. Because some people try to get fly, like I ain't never do nothing. Like, hold on, Miss or Mister. Didn't leave your mom crib until you was 25, and you had 3 kids at your mom crib. You know what I mean? Two in the bunk bed, 2 on the bunk beds, and 1 down the basement. Like, nah, hold on, slow down. You ain't gonna be trying to diss me. I definitely been on my own versus you. So, but for bragging rights, yeah, you can say all of that, but what does it really matter? What's the appropriate age for a child to move out of their parents' house? And what constitutes being on your own? Now, I've heard people lying, talking about, well, yeah, I've been out on my own since I was 13, 14. And when you start checking it, it's like, not exactly. Yeah, you had it rough. Just keeping it a buck. Some people don't have the option to not have made it on their own or to have moved out at that age. I did know girls who got pregnant 14, 15. Their parents felt some kind of way about it and kicked them out. Now let's talk about parents kicking their kids out. From what I have seen, it didn't go the way that a lot of people say that it go. I've heard people say that my mom was mad because I got pregnant at 15 and she kicked me out. But when you go and you really investigate it, that's not exactly what happened. A lot of times, from my experience, what happened was they got pregnant at 14, had the baby at 15, didn't want to follow they mom's rules. Their mom was already off the chain, ratchet type. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, mom was on some, she was extra. But she told the little girl, she told the young girl, listen, I know your little fast ass is out there doing this, that, and the third. Don't bring no babies home. What happened? They brought the baby home. They got pregnant. All right. So the mom was like, all right, well, just because you had a baby don't mean that you grown. You ain't but 15 years old. So you still gonna follow my rules. And she, the little young girl felt like she was a mom now, and she ain't have to follow those rules. So what happened? Mom was like, all right, well, since you grown, since you got a baby, then your ass can make it out there on your own, the same way that I'm making it here, having to take care of y'all too. Now, the grandmama and the ratchet grandmamas, the mom and the ratchet grandmothers, psyche said, well, look, the baby can stay, but you gotta go. The baby ain't disrespectful. The baby listens. It was a baby. You don't want to listen. You don't want to do this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. Well, then you can get out of here. So sometimes it happened like that, but I ain't gonna front. Sometimes they kick the girl and the baby out. It happens. It happens. Absolutely. So the question that I would ask is, after that, if you get kicked out of your parents' house, does that mean that you on your own? Does that mean that you've been making it on your own? Well, I think to make it on your own, there has to be a couple of things that have to be present. One of those things is you have to have an income. Did you have money coming in, whether it was from a job or you was hustling or even selling ass? Because unfortunately, sometimes, yeah. So yeah. Well, just because you get kicked out of your parents' crib doesn't necessarily mean that you started making it on your own. You might just because you ran away from home doesn't mean that you've been making it on your own. I know plenty of people who ran from their mom's house and they only ran to their grandmother's house. One time, if y'all know about those types of situations. Yeah, you ran away. I'm out of here. I ain't got to take this shit. Went straight to your grandmother crib. My mom, Nana, Granny, Grandma. You know, my mom, she tripping. She, but my mom, she don't be representing. I ain't do nothing but. You know, my mama getting high. She was. She be drunk all the time, and she got mad. She smoking that crack, and it is bad. She shooting that heroin, and she be nothing. Boy, I can't stay at the crib. Her boyfriend be trying to rape. He be looking at me and trying to take her. It's bad over there, niggas all over the place, and I can't stand this thing. Gotta get out of place. It can get bad. It can get bad. Been out on my own. Been on my own since age what? Since age who? Since age when? Is it true? Sometimes it is, a lot of times it's now, but not, but it's from your perspective, and this is all you got. So what do y'all think? What's going on? Cal Chamber, let me favorita. Auntie Carrie Wright, morning, noon, and night. And Stacey White coming on through. Look at you. And Care Bear no more than she share. And Emily, Emily Dunlap is what's going on? Been out on my own since what? Since who? Since when? I know a lot of kids these days, they be talking about they had to make it on their own. It was bad the way they grew up and all of this kind of stuff. They be talking about they made it on their own. You know, it's a messed up situation when one or two of your parents have passed. You know, you 12, 13 years old, and it can get bad because there, you know, I've seen situations where the parents, let's say, well, let's just you know, fast forward. Both parents die, and then the child has to either stay with the grandparents or aunt or uncle or something like that, and it can get ugly. It can get ugly because even if a child is being raised by a guardian or somebody that cares for them, it can still feel like you're out on your own because you don't have any parents, and your situation is different than other people's situation. Like your peers don't have to do what you have to do in order to be all right, in order to make it. It's tough. That's a tough situation. No, neither of your parents really are available. Sometimes both of your parents are on drugs, strung out, both of them. I've seen situations where both parents were strung out on drugs together, and they were together, but they can't take care of the kids. Yeah. The 80s and 90s weren't kind. Not from my view. The crack era was hard. It really was. It wasn't sweet like that. So both of your parents, your mom and your dad, are not separated, but they're not married, but they together, getting high together, and they getting high so much they can't take care of you. So how you gonna have your mom and your dad alive and together, but you still in foster care, but you still have to be raised by your grandmother, but you still never get a chance to see either one of them or whatever. They don't come through and take care of you. Well, it happens. I know that. It happens. And when that happens, the chance that a child is going to be in a bad situation is high. My brother from another mother, Norris Hill. What's going on? Good to see me some you. So we're talking about been on my own since I was how old. I mean, I know these young cats nowadays, they be talking about they've been on their own since they was 11, 12. And I'm like, what does that mean exactly? Some of them have had it rough, though. Some of them have had it rough, and They have had to fend for themselves since they was very, very young. See, when you're living under somebody's roof, but somebody's roof that you're living under doesn't care for you, it's going to make you feel alienated by most people. Because when you come home and you're not wanted at your home, that's not home. It's a house, it's a place to stay, but it's not a home. My bad, y'all. I had to turn off the ceiling fan. Turn off the ceiling fan. But yeah, when you feel unwanted in your own home, that's not unwanted in your own house, it's not going to feel like a home. And and when there's all kinds of ratchet, dirty, nasty, sinister situations going on in the house, you're not going to be able to get comfortable. And if you can't get comfortable in your own home, you're going to have to find a home somewhere else. When I was rapping about if your mom is on drugs or has some other type of, like, let's say your mom is going through a depressive episode and it's really bad and it has been going untreated, and she got a boyfriend that's abusive, and this guy has been having his eyes on you. Your mom loved this man to death. She loved him to death. He treat her like straight shit. But every chance he get, he telling you how good you look, how fine you look, trying to proposition you, trying to get you by yourself, trying to touch you, trying even offer you money, do something for him or whatever, that type of situation. And it's dangerous. And your mom might be in a situation where she don't believe him. Don't believe you. So she believes him over you. You're probably not going to stay in a situation like that very long. You're going to have to make a move. And it don't make it no easier when you have a child at a young age. Like, let's say you 15, 16 years old. God forbid you 17 years old, because now you're knocking on that door of being legal. But if you 16 years old, you already got a baby. To some men, you're grown already. Shoot, you have a baby, you grown. I don't care if you 15, 16. It don't make no sense. It's crazy. It's dead wrong. But for a lot of men, they feel like, well, she got a baby. She fair game. What makes a woman more than a baby? Carol Chamberlain says, sadly, that situation is common in some households. Yes, it is. I know a bunch of women that have been through that. It wasn't always the mom's boyfriend. Sometimes it was an uncle. Sometimes it was a brother. What kind of But yeah, sometimes somebody who the rest of the family is comfortable with and they trust, and they getting away with this old bullshit. Yeah. So you had to leave. Like, I'm not going to be going. I've been going through this night after night after night after night. 1 year, 2 years. I'm not going for this no more. Think about it. Since you was 12, 13, 14 years old, your uncle or your mom's boyfriend or somebody, whatever, your uncle by marriage, not blood uncle, but sometimes your blood uncle. But anyway, been propositioning you for years, and then you had a baby when you was 15, 16 years old. So in his mind, now you validated. Well, you've been giving up something. you need to give it up to me because at least I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna pay you whatever. You're gonna give us something, all right. STD, HIV, on some old Precious shit. The movie Precious was a sad movie, but it wasn't a strange movie to me. That wasn't like a situation that I never heard of. But people sweep shit under the rug. People be acting like black people never sweep shit under the rug. Oh yeah, we do it more than anybody else, probably. Mainly because coming out of slavery, we didn't even have a choice whether we wanted to be sexually assaulted or not. It just happened. Wasn't nothing we could do about it, and wasn't nobody you could tell about it that was going to do anything. And I think we took a lot of that energy to present day generations, and this is what we working with. It's the Daily Go Get 'Em Show, baby. Been on my own since I was what age? What age? I don't see nobody answer the question. What age do you think most people should be out on their own? It has to be an age in your mind somewhere, even if it's not the age that you did it. It ain't always about self. What age do you think that most people should be out on their own, doing for themselves, having their own crib, their own money, some type of independence? Like I said age 23. 1 year after college is finished to get yourself together. So I'm going to stick with 23. And that doesn't mean that should apply for everybody, and it doesn't mean that that's right. But it's the age that I'm saying. Even if you didn't go to college, let's say you graduated high school and went into the military, you're going to be home by 23. Go in when you're 18, do one tour. That's 4 years. Get out age 22. Live your life. If you go in the military, more than likely you'll have what it takes to make it out on your own. But is it always that way? Stacy White says 21. Wow. Okay. Carol Chamberlain says at least 25. By then, you should be able to take care of yourself, and you are probably more mature. Probably. Because I know, and you know, people that wasn't ready at all at 25. And a lot of times, the people that I knew that weren't ready by age 25, they weren't ready because they hadn't been shown. You know, I went to college with people who said that they lived on their own because they didn't live in the dorms. I'll never forget my man said that. Yeah, you know, I got my own place. I've been living by myself. And I was like, college don't count. I don't care if you got an off-campus apartment. But then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, kinda. I guess I figure I trumped him because I was already out of the crib, at 18. Even though it was only 1 month left before I was 19, but nonetheless, I was 18. If I died on July 20th, they would have said he died at 18 years old. He wasn't 19 yet. Am I wrong? You got to get there. But yeah, so he was like 22. Talking about or 21. Yeah, I've been living on my own. I got my own place. And I realized he needed to feel that way because where he grew up in this little house. Him, his brother, and his mom, and they had to share a room. So, he was used to being up under people all the time. So for him to have his own space to, have a little elbow room, even though he kept people over the crib all the time. Some people can't deal with having an empty house. It's just real shit. Some people can't deal with it. They ain't never been in an empty house. They always had a bunch of aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. Everybody always moved into their house where they was there all the time. You know what I'm talking about? The type of house that don't even have a lock. Well, no, I shouldn't say they don't have a lock. They got a lock. Ain't nobody got no keys. They lock it from the inside. But they on, somebody's always home. So all you gotta do is knock on the door or call, and somebody will let you in. But there ain't a bunch of keys going around. My man Linwood, may he rest in peace. He was like that. And you could kind of tell that they're used to having people over the house a lot because that's the way they grew up. So nobody was ever alone. And they may be afraid to be alone. Quite honestly, might be afraid of the dark, all kinds of shit. But yeah, so it's a different situation when it comes to that. And with my man, that was his situation. So I let him live. Like, all right, you do pay rent, even though you getting it from student loan. But hey, when you get a loan, that's your money. No, it says between 1821. 18 and 21. Okay. I moved out and I moved out and back twice. The third time was a charm. Moving to a different city and traveling significantly changes one's perspective. Says that was on my 22nd birthday. Okay. All right, I got you. I understand. I understand. Yeah, it's a tough situation. But you hear people talking about they've been out on their own since. Yeah, I've been taking care of myself. I ain't had nobody to do this for me or that for me. And a lot of times they just trying to come at the neck of people who have had help. One thing is for sure. If you have had somebody help you out, finance you, support you the way you're supposed to have growing up, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Just because somebody had to damn near but use animal tactics in order to make it through life because they was out in the streets at age 13, that doesn't make their experience more respectable than yours. It doesn't. But now we in this age of keeping it real, quote unquote, we keeping it real. That shit don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Not a damn thing. Because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And regardless of how I start or how I finish, I wouldn't have wanted to be in a situation where I have absolutely no resources, no mom, no dad, no sisters, no brothers, no aunts, uncles, cousins, no grandparents, no good friends that would look out for me when I didn't have anything. That's a desperate situation. Having to be afraid to make a mistake because your mistake could have you out in the street. Or it could be a fatal mistake. Nah, that ain't no good situation. Shout out to my people who have had to live that life and have had to, work through a situation like that. But that's not what you're looking for. If you could sketch up a life for yourself and especially sketch up a life for your children, you would not make it that way. Because the odds of coming out on top in that situation is low. I grew up in the era of the after school job. The after school job and the after school special. And that's real. I grew up, my peer group grew up in the era of the after school job and the after school special. But the after school job was meant to just supplement whatever allowance or whatever care that your parents were giving you. It wasn't we weren't making enough to be able to have an apartment, a car, be paying for a baby stroller and Pampers and all that kind of stuff. We wasn't making that kind of money. They didn't pay that kind of money at McDonald's and Burger King and Arby's and Wendy's and Popeyes, and it wasn't sweet like that. Not at all. It was a way for us to have a couple of dollars to go to the movies, go to the mall, buy a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt and stuff like that. That's what we had to do with our money. Imagine having to save that money because your rent is due at the end of the month and you 15, 16 years old. Or you're living with somebody who took you in, but they insist that you pay them rent. Most kids find it hard to even think about paying rent. It's hard for a lot of these parents to get their kids to even pay their cell phone bill or even put money on the bill. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Kids look at you crazy like, yeah, I expect you to get me the new iPhone, pay the bill, and any extras that I incur within the month, you pay that too. That's what these kids nowadays express. I heard him say it. We weren't exactly that emboldened. It was sneaker money, Adidas sweatsuit money, Mickey Mouse sweatshirt money, torn, torn, torn. I don't know, Jabot jeans or rolled up. Yeah, it was that money. It says, "Oh, how I missed the after school job, getting my own cassettes, records, clothes, and kicks." That's what that money was for. That was your money. Imagine the threat of being out on the street if you didn't make that money. Now, that was the after school job. Some people didn't have the after school job, or the after school job wasn't going to make enough, wasn't going to pay enough for you to be able to take care of you and your baby. There's a lot of times kids who had to work had to do so because they had a child that they had to take care of. 15, 16, 17 years old, it ain't sweet like that. It's really not. Most of us, like, I don't know, when I was a teenager, me and some of my, well, I didn't have to, but there were plenty of times when I went to the electric company, the water company, or the gas company to pay a bill with my friends. Pay the gas bill, pay the light bill, pay the water bill, whatever, and the crib that they lived in. Their mom would give them the money, and they went to go pay the bill. That's the only way we even knew what the bill looked like. Still couldn't figure out what those little usage meters were. We wasn't looking at that because it didn't apply to us. We knew that we was putting this much money on the bill, and whatever bill that we were paying would ensure that we didn't get that turned off. But some kids, because they had to work and they had to take care of a child, that Popeye, that McDonald's money wasn't going to make it, and the food stamps that they were getting wasn't going to cover, and the WIC that they was getting, the WIC check. The WIC check ain't about none. And if you're going to work, you can't be on welfare. You can get food stamps, but you can't be on welfare. Sometimes as a teenage parent, you might finagle a way to be able to collect welfare and have a job. So what they would do is they would hustle, sell drugs, sell ass. I know it's nasty, but it's true. Sell drugs, sell ass, sell pills, sell ass. Selling your soul, trying to do whatever it takes or whatever it took to take care of your baby. So when we talk about being out on your own, like I said, I've heard people say that they've been out on their own and it's not true. People have said that living under their parents' roof, talking about something. Yeah, ain't nobody give me nothing. Their parents looking at them like, ain't nobody give you. I gave you life. Everything you have on your back, I paid for. Every school that you went to and got kicked out of was because of me. They was running out of schools to place you in. I made them find another one. Yet you made it on your own. Like I said, when you check them, when you check the history in the background, you find out like it ain't true. They ain't been out on their own. They haven't made it on their own. They don't know nothing about being on their own. Carol Chamberlain says, that's survival, and a parent will do what they have to do. Yep, true. Even if it's selling ass. And that's the part we don't like to talk about, but we got to talk about, especially when we're talking about young kids. Does living on your own mean being on your own? Or should I say, what's your definition of being on your own? For me, it means living by yourself and having to pay all your bills and take care of all of your responsibilities. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't get no help. It doesn't mean that somebody is not showing you a better way, creating opportunities for you, showing you how to create opportunities for yourself. Teaching, tutoring, mentoring, giving you game. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're not making it on your own just because somebody helps you. If your leg is hurt or your hip is hurt,
90 seconds,
and somebody helps you up the steps to make sure that you don't fall, did they walk you up the steps? Did you not walk up the steps on your own power? Yeah, you did. Just because somebody helped you doesn't diminish the fact that you did it on your own.
60 seconds.
No, it says side question. Have you ever seen anybody's electric meter spinning like a CD and wonder what the bill looked like? Yeah, only my own. Like, yo, that thing going fast. I'm like, oh God. Oh God. Carol Samuel says, I agree, Omar. Someone is usually aiding you in some way. Yeah. Yeah. Look, you came into this world by yourself, but you didn't come into this world on your own power. There was God. There was your mama and the team of doctors or midwife or something. What you didn't do was birth yourself. All right, y'all. We got some birthday shout outs to do. Let's do them. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious May 16th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them. Making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Antoinette Taylor. Happy birthday to you. And Charlotte Reed turning 50 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And Thompson Torrey turning 100 years. Stop lying. And also La Jolla or La Green turning 31 years old today. And Jennifer Slightwork turning 32 years old today. And Yajaneri, Lopez turning 41 years old today. And Tamoy Johnson turning 42 years old today. And Melendez Sin turning 44 years old today. And April Scherer turning 46 years old today. And Wadia Shahida Thompson turning 40 years old today. And Monica Casey, Sheba Baby Jones turning 32 years old today. And last but not least, Nichelle Sakel. Happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious May 16th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out. Rock on it, do the damn, rock out. Rock on it, do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, see this. And listen up, sis. You don't have to be all by yourself to make it on your own and make sure that your health is intact. Somebody had your back, and you ought to be glad about that. Hey, yo, homeboy. Boy, build and destroy. You don't have to leave your life behind. You make sure you get some help and still shine. I know that you had 3 kids, yo, by the time that you was 23, but that's how it go. And you didn't have to live that life, but you chose. And that you're going down like that. You strike a pose in your county blues or your prison greens, and it seems like your life is a maze, but it seems like you gonna be all right. Now you have learned, and now it's your turn. But you don't have to say that you didn't get nobody's help because you lying. But you're getting yourself some help and some assistance, and your stance is that you're going to be the best because you got a chance. Rest in peace, Mr. Smith. Oh, man. No, it says rest in peace to my old head, Mr. Smith. I'm grateful for him not giving up on me as a friend for 27 years. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, definitely rest in peace, Mr. Smith. That's real. All right, so good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, it's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Just because you are getting assistance, that doesn't mean that you're not independent. It doesn't mean that you're not responsible, and it doesn't mean that you're not ready. Girl, I think you're ready. All right. I want to thank y'all for coming through. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all back to life. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. Don't forget to share the show. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed listening to the show as much as I enjoyed broadcasting it. We will be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So. All right, so let me get my blog talkers out of here. It's time to go now. Yeah, it gives you show now. Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. And then it was I like don't want to. I like don't want to cooperate. All right. Wow. Oh, he's been gone for a year. Okay. All right.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers. Peace.